Dagestan has been a world reference when it comes to MMA. Their signature wrestling and weaponized cardio made the Dagestani clan a force to be reckoned with, featuring UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, Bellator lightweight champion Usman Nurmagomedov, and Sharabutin Magomedov. But 15 years before Khabib's UFC debut, another Dagestani was emerging from the Caucasus Mountains to the pinnacle of the fighting world: Karim Barkalaev. Karimullah Magomedovich Barkalaev was born in 1973 in Soviet Georgia and moved to Dagestan in his early years. Training in judo, sanda, and later sambo, Karim was developing into a complete mixed martial artist in an era of one-dimensional specialists. Ahead of his time and already a two-time Russian sambo champion, Karim made his debut in MMA in April 1997, defeating 10-fight veteran American wrestler Joe Charles by submission. He would remain undefeated until the last fight of his career. His professional grappling debut would come 1 year later in the first ADCC Championships in Abu Dhabi. This was the beginning of a short but intense fighting career that, when it ended 4 years later, probably left more questions than answers. In Abu Dhabi, Karim made a splash competing in the inaugural ADCC event, losing only in the under 88 kilograms division finals to Rodrigo Gracie after defeating Igor Yakimov, Toby Imada, and Carlos Lopez. His impressive display of grappling technique was enough for ADCC founder Sheikh Tahnoun to be impressed. Barkalaev said that after the tournament, the seniors from the local club approached me with an offer, explained everything, said what the salary would be. I signed the contract and stayed. I prepared for a year, worked with Brazilian coaches, understood the whole system. In general, the next year I beat everyone.
What are your initial thoughts right now?
Next is Coca-Cola with ice and some steaks with burgers, It's like, I'm very hungry.
So am I.
Thank you.
Karim came back to MMA after ADCC, having a peculiar fight with the Dutch kickboxer and MMA pioneer Gilbert Yvel. After repeatedly breaking the rules by grabbing the cage to stuff the Dagestani's takedowns, Yvel tried another illegal method to break the Russian's grip by biting his chest and arms. Karim released the hold and subsequently got TKO'd, only for his trainer Volk Hahn to jump into the cage and attack the referee, frustrated that his calls to enforce the rules during the fight weren't being listened. The fight ended in a DQ win for Barkalaev, bringing his MMA record to 5 wins with 0 losses. As he promised the year before, Karim came back to ADCC in 1999, beating BJJ black belts Renato Verissimo and Amari Bettetti, American wrestler Egan Inoue, and Belarusian Alexander Savko in the finals to win the gold medal in the 88 kilograms category. To this day, Karim Barkalaev is the first and only Russian to ever win a gold medal in the prestigious ADCC tournament. The next year, however, the story would be completely different. Approaching his 3rd year living in Abu Dhabi and being the leader of the Royal Combat Club, with close ties to the royal family, Karim was a national idol. In the second round of the tournament, a young, hungry, and yet unknown Brazilian by the name of Ricardo Arona would give him his toughest test. A tense start to the fight and the struggle for hand position scalated to a slap contest that scalated further to punches and kicks by the Dagestani. 5 referees rushed to separate the action, and moments later, the match restarted. Arona was later declared the winner by judges' decision, but an irate Barkalaev was not satisfied and started a shouting match, cursing and flipping the whole Brazilian team off, unaware that behind them, on the stands, the Abu Dhabi royal family stood and watched. In addition, Karim was the royal judo instructor, and therefore, in a roundabout way, was representing the sheikh in the competition, and the sheikh was offended. The legend goes that Karim would be arrested soon after and deported back to Dagestan after spending a week jailed in solitary confinement. According to Karim himself, in an interview in 2021, roughly translated from Russian, he says, "The Brazilians started showing me something, shouting. I said to them, 'I'll give you a hard time.' And I started going after the Brazilian team. And there were sheikhs sitting in the hall. They saw everything. According to their understanding, I shouldn't have done that. Well, yes, I was emotional, but I was telling the team off." 5 days pass. Masked shows start running. Machine guns, masks. I thought, is it a terrorist attack? I'm sitting in shorts. I should have gone out to wrestle, and they're all around me. Then immediately shackles, handcuffs. They blindfold me, and off we go. I sat there in solitary confinement for a week, and then the sheikh pulled me out. They let me out, and I left. According to the interview, Barkalaev would never speak to Sheikh Tahnoon, nor would he return to Abu Dhabi since. I'll link the full interview in the description if anyone can make this translation better. However, his royal Middle Eastern fighting gigs wouldn't stop there. The Sheikh of Kuwait, Naif al-Sabah, would hire the Dagestani trailblazer for a similar job, teaching Sambo to the royal expanded circle. At this point, Karim was boasting a perfect 9-0 record, having just been the winner in a one-night no-holds-barred tournament in Kyiv, and would soon be included by the Sheikh of Kuwait in an infamous MMA tournament.
ESPN app. Yeah. Buy. It's only $70.
We have Russian link.
You have a link?
Like
you don't have enough money to spend.
Never paid.
You have so much money, you can't give me $70?
We're coming to you live from the Qassia Club Stadium just outside Kuwait City, Kuwait.
In 2001, the world of MMA witnessed one of its strangest tournaments, the Warriors War, held in Kuwait. With a star-studded lineup, a huge prize, and a wealthy sheikh's backing, it had all the makings of a legendary event. But what unfolded was a story of chaos, alliances, and unexpected heroism in the face of corruption. Naif al-Sabah, Sheikh of Kuwait, had a vision. Inspired by events like the UFC and Pride FC, he wanted his own world-class MMA tournament. The sheikh poured his wealth into organizing Warriors War, offering a then unheard of $60,000 prize to attract top fighters from across the globe. The roster was impressive. From Brazil, Pele Jose Landy Johns, from the US, Matt Hughes and Dave Mena, and from Canada, Carlos Newton. To add an extra twist, Al-Sabah included his favorite Barkalaev. Fighters and fans alike expected an epic showdown, but problems started as soon as the fighters arrived. Many had to pay their own travel expenses, and some were shocked by the lack of basic arrangements, like a proper weigh-in. During the weigh-in, or lack thereof, rumors swirled that Barkalaev, the Sheikh's favorite fighter, was well over the middleweight limit at 202 pounds. In the general meeting before the tournament, event officials announced that fighters only needed to meet the weight requirement for their first fight, allowing them to bulk up in later rounds. This rule bending was immediately met with resistance from other fighters and trainers. Marcelo Alonso, Brazilian journalist reporting for Sherdog, reported what he saw in Kuwait. Faced with the threat of a mutiny, Al-Meri acquiesced to the pressure and a scale was finally brought in. As expected, Barkalaev, well known to Brazilian fans after his controversial match with Ricardo Arona in the 2000 ADCC semifinals, tipped the scales at 202 pounds. With Landy Johns weighing in at 194 pounds, Hughes at 191, and Newton at 189, the fighters and organization eventually reached an agreement. Despite the chaos, some iconic matchups unfolded. Future UFC middleweight champion Dave Mena opened the tournament in a barn burner against Canadian grappling ace Carlos Newton. Inside the first minute, as Mene went for a head kick, the Canadian dropped under his legs, took his back with a body lock, and slammed him to the mat. The American managed to escape, but Newton took him down 2 more times and nearly finished Mene with an arm lock. However, in the closing seconds, Mene knocked down the Ronin with a head kick. This should have pushed the fight into overtime, but the judges named Mene the winner instead, leaving Newton outraged. In another barn burner, Brazilian Muay Thai specialist Jose Landy Johns face off against future UFC Hall of Famer and welterweight champion Matt Hughes. Hughes' strength gave him an early advantage, but in a spectacular comeback, Pele delivered a knee to knock Hughes out cold.
Be careful here. Like, okay. Oh! Big knee by Pele! Oh, that is
Big
it.
knee!
That's
Pele
the finish of it.
stopped
That's
Matt
the finish
Hughes
of it.
with a huge knee.
In the other bracket, Karim Barkalaev played it close to the vest in his decision win over lanky Spanish opponent Lerma, saving his energy for the semifinals against Landy Johns. Aware of the Brazilian's striking prowess, the Russian quickly clinched and hit an Uchimata. From that point, Barkalaev thoroughly dominated the fight as he passed the Landy Johns guard, mounted and rained down hard shots. Pele yielded his back and tried to stand, but that only made his situation worse. Under a barrage of punches, the Brazilian dropped back to his knees. With Pele defenseless, McCarthy was forced to stop the fight. In the other semifinals, Mene earned a decision over Russian alternate Shamir Maromegov, a well-rested alternate for Spaniard Antonio Tello. Mene engaged in a firefight with Tello, advancing to the final against Barkalaev in tatters after 20 minutes of intense fighting. In the tournament final, the promoters met with the consequences of their incompetence. Unlike the Sheikh and his subjects, who held Barkalaev as an idol, all of the foreigners involved in the event's organization and refereeing were outraged at the manipulation employed to crown the Dagestani as champion. The American got off to a better start and took down the Russian. However, Barkalaev defended well and attempted a dangerous leg lock, which the American fought off. Next, Barkalaev moved on top, passed the guard, mounted, and teed off much like he had done in the Pele fight. In turn, Mene escaped and returned to his feet. After an impressive striking exchange, Mene took down the Russian again and applied his ground and pound. Once again, Barkalaev surprised us by recovering, standing, taking down Mene, and mounting him in the final minute. While Barkalaev punched, Mene tried to buck him off, leading the Russian to grab the cage. McCarthy warned him, but Barkalaev committed the same infraction and was deducted a point. The penalty would determine the winner of the $60,000. When the fight ended, Barkalaev rose to celebrate, while McCarthy reminded the judges of the deduction. To the outrage of the local crowd, Mene was named the winner by unanimous decision.
The judges have reached a unanimous decision. With 1 foul counted to Mr. Barkalaev, the judges have found the winner of the Warriors' War from the USA, Dave Mene!
Call him the comeback kid.
Almeri argued with McCarthy, who offered a blunt response. "You brought me in to make sure the rules were followed, and that's what I did." Barkalaev was livid. "This is preposterous," he said while still in the cage. "An international event can't have a referee and 3 judges, all from the same country." In the end, Mene received his check and a title belt directly from the Sheikh. This was Karim's last fight. He retired from MMA with 11 wins and that 1 loss against Dave Mene in the finals. As for a motive to the sudden and unplanned retirement, Barkalaev said, "I myself can't understand the reason. I came to Moscow, started doing some things, business, and left everything. I also got married. The low pay and lack of opportunities from pride in UFC probably contributed to his retirement." To this day, Karimullah Barkalaev stands as the only Russian to ever win gold at the ADCC Championships. A pioneer of mixed martial arts coming from Dagestan, his story continues shrouded in mystery, but he certainly carved his place in the fighting history books. Thank you so much for watching. This video is a bit different from the other ones I've posted, so I would like to hear your thoughts on this kind of format. If you want to dive deeper into the story of Warriors War 2001, check out the full article by Marcelo Alonso on Sherdog.com that I linked in the description. Last thing, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content on the unseen side of mixed martial arts.
Couldn't you have gone with something like Alexander, maybe Sergey? You know, simple nickname for us, simple middle name for me.
Oh, this is Dagestan name, bro. This is my father name, and this is my name, Habib. You know, this is Dagestan name. That's why a little bit different.
Say whole name, please. Abdulmanopovich?
No Khabib. Habib Abdulmanapovich Nurmohamadov. This is my, correctly.
Well, you're freestyling. You're making stuff up now, but it's okay.
DC, this is your friend. Get his name right. Come on.